certainly the best.
Herdsmen matter. Exactly what we are on at this point. We're looking at how to end the herdsmen farmers clashes is key. It's a national discourse. And looking at this with me, we'll be having a chat with notable personalities. But before that, let's go back to yesterday, the symposium organized by Correspondence Chapel of the NUJ Edo State chapter, which was on sustainable agriculture and looking at ending farmers and herdsmen clashes. On this, the representative of the governor of Edo State, Governor Obaseki, who is Prince Joe Okoje, the special advisor to the governor on agriculture, forestry, and food security, gave a speech on behalf of the governor. And that was yesterday, alongside other stakeholders who also mentioned notable points. And we'll be showing you that excerpt, that report, after which we kickstart the discussion.
Raids allegedly carried out by nomadic herdsmen, which has affected over 7 states in the country, are considered the biggest security threat to the peaceful coexistence of the country. Although the crisis has existed for many years, there has been a dramatic increase of cases of such attack. This has prompted outcry by victims, stakeholders, and concerned citizens, and the need to proffer solutions to the lingering crisis. The chairperson, NUJ Correspondence Chapel, Edo State, Nafisatu Yakubu, in her speech appreciated guests for attending the symposium and commented on the rationale behind the public lecture series and symposium.
In my view, it is assumed that organizations like ours has a special relationship with the public, who we report on a daily basis. The society looks up to us to play a strong role in reporting the news and transmitting what is valuable to it.
Chairman of the first ever public lecture series organized by the Correspondence Chapel of the NUJ Edo State Council, Owe Dixon Masoge, raised issues including the abandonment of the anti-grazing law by Edo State House of Assembly, and said it appears that security agencies are seemingly not curtailing the farmers and herdsmen clashes in different parts of the country.
The farmers who are in the receiving end of this problem, we want to know why the government and the law enforcement agency are closing their eyes to these herdsmen, even going with weapons and destroying our farms.
The guest lecturer, Dr. Agarese Osifo, said the creation of livestock development centers should be adopted to solve the grazing issues, and described the theme Sustainable Agriculture as panacea to herdsmen attack on arable crop farmers in Nigeria as apt, and what the state government is doing to alleviate the plight of farmers who are the victims of herdsmen attack. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, represented by the Special Advisor on Food Security and Agriculture, Prince Joe Okoje, said measures have been put in place to ensure security and protection of lives and property, with the example of the recent ban on night grazing in the state. Edo State Commissioner of Police Johnson Kokomo appeals to the media to avoid speculative reports of incidents.
In every local government, we are going to have the 7-man committee. There are also some hotlines that you can call to report any activities of the Fulani herdsmen.
I want to use this opportunity to appeal to my friends of the media. Do some investigations before you either go media to disseminate information about happenings.
Others who commented include the Chairman Farmers Association of Nigeria, Edo State, Chief Emmanuel Odige, the representative of Comrade Peter Esele, and President Trade Union Congress, Comrade Joe Aligbe, the representative of the Archbishop of Church of God Mission International, Archbishop Margaret Dahosa, Dr. Mike Obaze, spiritual leader, Spirit and Life Bible Church, Apostle Eunice Osagede, and the representative of the Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, Kabiru Ajoto, Jacob Afekena. The event had in attendance journalists from various media outfits and media executives, including the General Manager, Independent Television, Benin City, Senior Edda Ogbeide Ogunwose. Deborah Ogbefun reporting.
Thank you very much, Deborah Ogbefun, for that candid report on that. Well, as you saw that, we had a full capacity of stakeholders in that symposium. And I have the special advisor to the governor of Edo State, Governor Obaseki, on agriculture, forestry, and food security, Prince Joe Okoje. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you and good morning.
And next, I have a legal practitioner, also a politician, a former gubernatorial candidate, and Edo State governorship race. He is known as Comrade Cosmos Irabo. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. Welcome, viewers.
All right, well, we would like to know more. We saw you yesterday really delivering that speech on behalf of the governor. And looking at how sensitive that issue is, we've been hearing about national killings. And sometimes we experience it so close, siblings being killed. And as that as it is, even the governor has gone sympathizing with bereaved families. As that as it is, we still hear about a ban on night grazing. Some say, why don't you just ban grazing completely? Well, the governor, in his wisdom, banned night grazing and armed herdsmen. And that kickstarted the stakeholders meeting we had yesterday, which we delivered a speech on behalf of the governor. Now, what is the relevance of government's action to ending herdsmen and farmers' clashes in Edo State?
Well, thanks for having me on your program, giving me the opportunity to talk to our people and your viewers.
Yeah.
What is going on as far as the activities of the herdsmen are concerned is rather unfortunate. One will wonder, how did we ever get here? Like I said yesterday, we have coexisted in peace and harmony over time, even when we were kids with herdsmen. And I guess the critical question to answer today or to ask is, how did we get here? What happened? What changed? We used to see herdsmen when we were kids. All they had was a stick to control their cow. But today, we see them with
AK-47 rifles.
And we hear about all kinds of killings. Well, the governor is doing his part. You can't throw the baby and the bathwater away. I'm saying this to say that, like you said, why are we not just banning
open
grazing without saying things that I'm not at liberty to say? I think we will eventually get there, but I think the government is taking it one step at a time.
Okay.
We are going towards a situation whereby now we've banned night grazing. We have asked citizens to report anybody they see, any herdsman they see with AK-47. We've also set up a 7-man committee in every local government so that there will be free flow of information. This committee consists of the DPU, the DSS, civil defense, and members of the community. And we have set up other mechanisms to gather intelligence as to the activities of the herdsmen in the various communities. And with all of this information that we will gather, then we analyze them and figure out what the issue is and the best way to tackle the issue. That way, we are not just punishing everybody, because our belief is that there are still a few cattle rearers that are out there to do genuine business. Not all of them are bad. Okay. Like I said yesterday, in every society you must have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you don't have that, the society will not be complete. The onus is on us as a government to put mechanisms in place to check the bad ones,
Yeah.
which is exactly what we are doing.
Okay, thank you. Cosmo Sirabo, you heard him, and we look at this aspect, and what is your assessment about this? Because I draw from what he said, not throwing the baby with the bad water. Don't you see the plan of state government to really checkmate the excesses of herdsmen clashes the way the governor is doing as a right step in the right direction?
Well, I will not say something good had not happened at all. At least the governor has spoken. But I will want to say here that the action is rather reactive. Because this issue of herdsmen killing has been going on for a very long time. And unfortunately, our governor did not utter any statement with regards to it. Any sound statement with regards to this particular issue. It was when the PDP spokesperson or the chairman, Danobi, started accusing the government. That's when the governor decided to speak. And I see that as a little funny, if I may put it that way. Because I expected that a governor like Obaseki, because when he started, for me, I saw changes. Because before he came in, they were saying continuity. When he came in, I discovered there was no issue of continuity. A whole lot of things that I consider very funny in the former administration, he stopped them. So to me, I was beginning to be, you know...
Like what?
I wouldn't want to delve into that. For instance, you talk of Agberos, Jews, and all those things. When he came in, he stopped those things, and we were very happy, you understand. But at a particular time, we started saying things that really we're not, you know, too happy about. Now, with regards to this issue of herdsmen, I expected that the government should have been reactive. I mean proactive, not reactive. Do something. Now, in his statement, he said that they were banning night grazing. And also banning the herdsmen carrying guns. In our criminal code, if you carry gun at all, it is unlawful possession of firearms, which is a criminal activity.
And that's what is banning.
So you don't ban what is already in existence.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? That is already there. So banning it is just an issue of semantics. Just say what is already there. Now, why will it be in the night? If you want to do something, do it. Is it you now wait for so many other people to have been killed before you now take another step? You see, in the night, most of these fights don't even take place in the night.
But get it cleared. He banned night grazing and armed herdsmen. That is not to say that even during the day they can go with arms, you know. But what the aspect is the night grazing.
He banned night grazing. But the point I'm making here is this: most of the times, the grazing is not the issue.
Okay.
Let's get that. If you graze well, you won't have problem. Like he rightly said, he said, these people have been here with us.
Yes.
What suddenly happened? And it's a very salient question I want so many people to answer.
Okay.
How come it's happening now?
Now.
Funny enough, let me deviate a little. I've been in Abuja when other people, government were there. You don't see cattle in Abuja. Everything was neat. But the last time I went to Abuja, even when the traffic light was saying go, cattle were crossing the road, cars stopped. How come it's happening now? It's a question we should ask. You understand?
Yeah.
But let's leave that aspect of it. Now, the issue is not the grazing. The issue is the crisis, the conflict. People say herdsmen and farmers clashes. It is not herdsmen and farmers clashes. It is assault, killings of farmers by herdsmen. That's the issue. Because you can't say I'm clashing with the man when I know that somebody, for instance, those days in literature, they say Okonkwo and the wife fought. Does it make sense? You say Okonkwo beat the wife because you know what Okonkwo has. And let me say this clearly. This herdsmen issue, it is not those ones you see walking around with the cattle that are doing all this mayhem. There are two groups. This was going to when they have issues daytime with farmers, because farmers don't farm in the night. They farm in the day. When they have issues with the farmers, they go and inform the killer squad that come and kill them in the night. So that's what I've been able to observe from the whole thing. So the grazing is not the issue. Because when they graze in the night, it does not cause crisis, because in the night, farmers don't farm. It is the daytime. So by the time you now say grazing at the night, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's just, you have said nothing. And then you say banning of guns is also nothing. The law has never permitted anybody to carry arms. So if you say ban it in the night, what of the daytime? So they can carry it?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, back to you, Prince Joe. Let's look at the aspects chronologically. We saw in reports where the governor of Edo State was saying that farmers should go back to farms. They shouldn't be afraid. They shouldn't be scared. And I think that's what Cosmos Boy is trying to talk about. Now, you also made mention of it that a 7-man committee has been set, manned in each local government. And the challenge here is, how is the government going to drive this to ensure that it doesn't just end in joint team patrolling on major roads, but going to interiors and having the basis of security agents in those places, rural communities where the mayhem and dastardly act is much? How does the government want to drive this?
Well, let me first of all correct an impression.
Okay.
Like my friend here said, he's right. The governor cannot ban something that has already been banned. And carrying a gun in our constitution is illegal, and is tantamount to possession of illegal arms. The governor never said he's banning the herdsmen from carrying AK-47. Rather, what he said was that if you see anyone with AK-47, we have hotlines that you can report, and the person will be immediately arrested and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. That's what the governor said. What the governor did ban was night grazing. Now, like I said, Rome was not built in one day. We have to start from somewhere. This problem is not just an Edo State problem. It's a national problem.
It is.
And the governor, in my view, has done very well, in the sense that the governor didn't just make a statement. There were a series of meetings. We're trying to, first of all, if you are ill now, the doctors don't just come and treat you. They have to, first of all, examine you, run tests, identify the problem so that we know what we are treating. I said earlier that we have coexisted in peace and harmony with the herdsmen. What happened? That was a silly question, like he said, that needed to be answered. The governor needed to investigate, interrogate the problem, and figure out measures to put in place to check the problem. As it is today, we have gotten all the Fulanese leaders in the entire state and in the various communities involved. All of them have now put their hands on deck. Any Fulani coming into the states must register. So that way we keep a track of who's coming in and who's going out. So at their various communities, as they come in, we know who they are. The Fulani leaders within each of our community have now saddled with the responsibility of monitoring their activities in their various communities. And they are working in conjunction with this 7-man committee that includes our security agencies. And the governor is giving them resources to make sure that they are able to react when they need to react and when they are called upon.
But quickly,
I think that's a step in the right direction.
But quickly, let's look at the seemingly inadequate manpower of the security agencies. Because at present, we could say that even the policemen, the manpower is low. And then we look at the NSCDC. Even today, we saw it on reports that even 2 members of the NSCDC were killed in Benue on open fire by the herdsmen. Now, is it not mind-boggling that we may not have the adequate manpower to really face these enemies?
If you listen to me earlier, that's why I said that it's going to be a joint and a collaborative effort. Both the communities, vigilantes,
the night watchers,
both the Fulani leaders in each community, everybody is going to be involved in this process. When the governor issued that statement, he didn't just come out and issue the statement. It was a stakeholders meeting that was held in Government House where we all agreed on modalities. Then, without divulging a lot of what we agreed on, setting the highlights were articulated.
Okay.
So it's not, let me put it like this, it's going to be sort of like community policing, because this is an issue that is, like you said, sometimes it touches on siblings and touches on people very close.
Yes.
So at this point, I think all of us have to be conscious of our environment and do whatever we need to do to make sure that we all live in peace and harmony.
Okay. Comrade Cosmos, let's look at the aspects we just spoke about in terms of community policing and then giving out information, because in the meeting we had when someone said the identity, how can we guarantee the protection of the identity of informants? I want to talk generally in that respect.
You see, whenever I come here, I always say it. I say I don't talk like a lawyer or whatever. I talk like an ordinary man in the streets. I've been a street man all my life. You see, when we are saying certain things, it looks nice, but the practical aspect of it is what the issue is. The question I would have loved to ask is, these communities that these Fulani herdsmen have been attacking, is it that they don't have vigilantes? They do. But the issue is, when you live there and you go to the relevant security agencies to complain, they ignore you. I don't know, maybe because of the power that be at the top or whatever. Let's take the case of Benue. You heard what the governor said. He said, I have no control over the police. You see, the DSS is there and all that. Issues like this is what the DSS should handle. But they don't. So who will not take the pains? As when you say void administration, you go and begin to waste your time for something the result is failure.
But we mustn't have our mentality fixed on that. Because there must be a way forward.
Yes, there must be a way forward.
Yes.
But the issue is, I expected that the government should set special squads.
Okay.
Equip them. If possible, what does it take to have a helicopter in the first instance?
Well, I think that's where state policing comes from. Because
no, for me, I will never subscribe to state policing.
Okay.
I will never subscribe to state policing. For me, I will never do that.
Okay.
I have my reasons. But what I'm saying is that if the governor when I was campaigning, I said, security issue, I will get helicopters. How much is a helicopter? Get helicopters, get what you call it, CCTV cameras.
Yes.
Before you know it, you begin to see things, if actually you really want to do something. We've had situations where the government will say, go, everything is done. At the end of the day, the people will go, they'll be slaughtered and nothing happens. These are facts. So, you say we should be proactive. And why you see people are complaining is that, how come after people have been shouting that all these ones are coming up? Okay. When did this issue? Must we wait for people to die before we begin to act? So those are the issues. So whatever is coming on, people still look at it reluctantly.
Well, thank you. Well, we are on This Morning on ITV, and we are on the topic ending herdsmen and farmers clashes. And I've been discussing with the special advisor to the governor of Edo State, Governor Obaseki, is Prince Joe Okoje, and he is a special advisor on agriculture, forestry and food security. Looking at this, let's look at the aspect where there is this feeling that the state governor, like what the opposition said, as reports have it, that the state governor could be making some portions of Edo State land for cattle colony. What's your reaction on that?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's anything like that. But I would like to address some of the issues that my brother here raised. I think on this issue, we should try to have an open mind. We shouldn't just conclude that government initiative will not work without even trying to give it a try. We have a problem. Somehow we must prefer solutions to this problem. And if we discourage people from even trying, how is that going to solve our problem? The government have come up with some initiative. In my view, I believe they are laudable initiative, and he's willing to put his money where his mouth is by giving them the resources to make sure that this initiative are at least for now carried out until we come up with a more permanent solution.
Okay, yeah. It's a way to an end.
It's a way to an end.
Okay.
But for us to sit on the sideline and just conclude that it's not going to work and the governor shouldn't have gone about it that way. You know, the state belongs to all of us. If we think we have better ideas or better initiatives than the governor, why not drop him a note? At least we have a governor that reads every letter that comes to him. You know, maybe he would figure out a way to incorporate what my brother here is saying. At least the governor is not the governor of APC. He's the governor of Edo State. It's not the governor of APC alone. That PDP will sit on the sideline and criticize every laudable initiative doesn't mean we should start thinking along those lines. We should try to take whatever it is that the governor is doing, you know, analyze it, and if there are ways we can make contribution that we think is meaningful, we should do that.
Okay. And
we have a governor that is listening, and I'm sure he will listen.
Okay, your purview is on agriculture, forestry, and food security. Like one of the stakeholders said yesterday in the symposium. What is the focus of the state government on livestock development centers? Should it just be cattle? What about livestock development centers?
Well,
is there any plan? Is there any action on that?
It's not just cattle.
Okay.
Okay. When you're talking about livestock, the state has initiative in piggery that is ongoing right now. And first week of March, our investors from Russia are going to come in that are going to do mega poultries for chickens and egg production. So it's just that as it is right now, being that the crisis between the herdsman and the farmer is ongoing, you know, that seems to be taking center stage. Okay. But the state has a lot of laudable ideas as far as agriculture is concerned. We are trying to take our farmers from a subsistence basis to a more commercial or mechanized way of farming. That's why you see the project going on in Sobe, Sugbenu, Ekpoma, and other communities that the governor have engaged people to clear. You would agree with me that in the last 5 decades, we have not really farmed. So we don't have farm feeds.
Okay.
You know, we don't have farm feeds. the way it should be. But the governor is doing his best in that direction to make sure that he creates farm fields, so that as you drive, you see large farm fields like you see everywhere else in the Western world.
Okay.
And really introduce our people to commercial or mechanized farming.
Okay.
Okay, so we are not just looking at cattle.
Right.
We are implementing initiative in piggery and poultry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Comrade Cosmos Adabo, you have any reaction to that?
Well, most of the times when it is conceptualized, the concepts, they are always very beautiful. Like this one is, well, let's say the practical. It is the practical.
Like you said, the events are going to unfold.
Let's watch. Time is the best judge.
Okay.
But I also want to clear an issue. For me, I don't think it's herdsmen, farmers clashes. It is attack on farmers by herdsmen.
Okay, if you were to be the governor, what would be your points, or what would be your actions in this regard?
Concerning farmers and herdsmen, the attack on the...
yes, the farmers and herdsmen clashes.
It's not clashes.
The attack, okay, let's use your words. The attack
herdsmen.
on farmers by herdsmen. If you were the governor, what would be your action?
Good. The first thing, because it's something that has to do with security. The first thing I'll do is, like I said, I will go and get helicopters. I will have special squads, not special squads, and there will be a total ban on grazing. Total ban on grazing.
On open grazing?
On open grazing.
What about if you do that and then you have issues like Benue State had? Because I think caution needs to be taken so that it doesn't escalate.
Like I told you, the issue of Benue State is not those ones along the road that are perpetrating this issue, these things. They are special squads doing it. And these are people that have been tamed, that are moving around. Even whether you graze or you don't graze, they are attacking people. Is it the farmers they are attacking? They are attacking ordinary people. So that one is on its own.
Okay.
I will ban grazing completely. Go and get your what you call this, that is, you keep your cattle in a particular place. Ranch your cattle if you want to do it. Don't graze around. Okay. It is not even modern. It is not scientific. Okay. Ranch your cattle and then stop the grazing. That's the simple truth. Okay. Any other thing aside that, you are just wasting time. We will come here again to discuss this issue. You see here cracks. This thing, attack on farmers.
Okay. Prince Joe, as we round off, we hear about the presence of Islamic State of West Africa in Edo State. Edo State was among the states that were mentioned, and as mind-boggling as that is, what do you think should be the peace that the people of Edo State should have in respect of these challenges, mostly as we've heard about the presence of the Islamic State of West Africa?
Well, I don't know what Islam has to do with the herdsmen. People have a right to associate, practice any religion that they want to practice, as long as they don't infringe on others' rights. That's okay, as far as I'm concerned. We should be able to coexist in peace and harmony, regardless of what our religious background is. Okay. Religious background. But let me clear something. If you recall earlier, I said we are working on certain initiatives.
Yes.
As far as this problem is concerned. But in the meantime, we must put a temporary solution in place while we are working on what we are working on. If you go and ban grazing without providing an alternative, what do you think we have? Don't you think we have more crisis in our hands? So to put a solution in place that will fix the problem permanently, don't you think it required a little bit of planning and interrogating the process to make sure that the process will do exactly what you want it to?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Your points are noted. Thank you, because we're pressed for time. But let me quickly ask, you made mention of the fact that the community members, the night watch, the vigilante groups will be co-opted in all of this. Is it possible that there could be recruitment by the state government on these vigilante members? Is it possible that they will be recruited and be on payroll of government?
Well,
because presently we have the challenges of security risk. We have a breaking and entry by armed robbers. We have a lecturer of Uniben killed some weeks back, and we hardly sleep with one eye closed. Our two eyes are opened all the day, throughout the night. So will it be the way forward in respect of the government trying to put some of these vigilante members on the payroll to check and help assist security agencies?
Well, I don't have any information as regarding that.
Okay.
So I'm sure the governor, from what I heard him say during that stakeholders meeting, he's ready to deploy whatever resources that is required to make sure whatever they're doing succeeds.
Okay.
So I don't have the details of what those resources are.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prince Joe Okoje, for coming. It's quite awesome to know. Thank you very much, Cosmos Irabo. You have something to say?
Yeah.
As we round off.
Because like my brother here said, he said before you ban grazing completely, you provide an alternative. I begin to wonder, cattle grazing, is it government business? Why should government even think of providing an alternative for them? It is a private business. They should ranch it. It's simple. It is simple. All this one we're doing, I tell you, we're just wasting our time. These people should ranch this thing. Instead of going to destroy people's farms, attack farmers, it's always in the day. The night issue does not even count. But anyway, let me round up here.
Thank you very much, Cosmos Irabo. Thanks, Prince Joe Okoje. Well, this is where we round off on this segment. It's an unfolding thing, like what the governor's representative just said. It's an unfolding thing, and we do hope that as we go, as the days go by, there will be changes to really suit the feelings and safety of every indigene, every member, every resident of Edo State in particular, and Nigeria at large. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this segment, but it's still this morning on ITV, and we've got other segments. Stay with me.
Certainly the best.